Hi, my name is Tracy Cook, and welcome to the Visionary Women's Series. Join us for an enlightening conversation with a woman who's not just a leader in her field, but she is a game changer. She is blazing new trails and creating opportunities for others to follow. You won't want to miss the valuable insights and wisdom that Andrea Marsh has to share today. Andrea, what and how made you evolve into a visionary woman?
Well, Tracy, hi. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your podcast. Around about 5 years ago, I have a daughter, an only child, and about 5 years ago, she became really unwell, mentally unwell, and she ended up in hospital for about 2 years. So we went through a really, really tough time, as you can imagine, and she had an eating disorder as well. So it was really difficult for me to try and get my head around that. And I didn't understand anything then about mental health, about how it affected young children or teenagers. She was about 14. So I struggled. I struggled a lot, and I was a hairdresser back then. So I was naturally mentoring people anyway, without even realizing it, because your hairdresser, I mean, you offload everything onto your hairdresser, right?
You sure do.
They're usually your best friend who you can give them everything about your life to. So um, I got to the point where I was seeing her. I was traveling down to London from where I lived, and so it was like a 2 hour round trip, four days a week, to see her and to support her. And then we came through lockdown. We went into lockdown, and I couldn't visit, and it was just awful because my mental health had started to deteriorate. But I knew I had to be strong for her. I had to support her. So I went through lockdown, not being able to visit, and I hit a brick wall. I hit depression, and I just didn't know which way to turn really, because I couldn't even work, couldn't do anything. So I turned to social media, and I started looking at ways to try and get my head back into a space which was a positive space where I could focus more on her and stay strong for her. And that's what I did. And I pulled myself out of the darkest hole through the power of positivity. I started to look at manifestation. I started to look at how I could stay on top and stay strong for her. And then a lady came to me one day, who I knew very well, and she said that her daughter was suffering from mental health. And she knew what I'd been through and what I was going through. And she said, "Can I have a chat with you?" And I said, "Yeah, of course you can." And after that, about two or three other people, of course, the word went out then. And I was coaching these people without even realizing what I was doing. And I was giving them all different ways of how to cope and how to look at things in a different way and the power of the mind and all this kind of stuff. And then this lady said to me, "You need to do this for a living." And the light bulb went on. And I thought, you know what? I'm getting so much pleasure out of helping these people. I need to do this. This is what I need to do. And I did. I qualified as a coach, a life coach. And then I narrowed it down to strategic mindset and self-development coaching, because I think now with everything that's going on in this world, mental health is really out there in the media, um, and it's all connected with the mind. So I now help individuals. I go into businesses. I do public speaking, and I'm running my own masterclass in the summer, all for mindset. So I can help as many people as possible to rewire their brain and focus on their future.
I think that's just such a powerful place to be, because there's always just such a message in our mess, and it's not always obvious at the beginning, right? Why
No.
we're given these stories, like with you and your daughter, and how it affects the family dynamic, and how it affects your mental health and your physical well-being and relationships.
Yeah.
And I love how people were coming to you and supporting you and seeing your potential before possibly you could. You need to do this,
That's
to
exact.
help
Yeah.
other people. And sometimes we don't have that awareness that comes in those virtual doors and the physical doors to us, until somebody, like you said, the light bulb moment, and somebody just points
Yeah.
it out to us, and we're like, oh, of course, that's my path. That's why this has all been happening, so I can help other people. And I just love
Yeah.
the way you explained that so well. And
Thank
you've
you.
created just such a community and a following, and you're helping change and save lives, and impacting on the world as a visionary woman and leader. What are the biggest kind of shifts and the biggest things that you've seen as a result of you stepping into this life coaching and stepping into teaching people about mindset and positive energy shifts?
The biggest shift for me personally is my whole life has changed. Everything about my life has changed. From when I get up in the morning, I'm just a happier, healthier person because I think differently now than I ever did before. I focus. I have so much more focus in my life about where I want to be, where I want to go, how I'm going to get there. Um, but I also have focus on helping other people. And when I see them evolve and I watch them develop through the coaching, and they have these light bulb moments that go, yeah, if I think about it this way, then that's going to happen to me. And when I see people's lives changing in front of me over a period of time, and they have that focus, it's great. It's just the most amazing feeling. I can't tell you. It's because when you have a self-belief and you have confidence in yourself, and you know that it doesn't matter what life throws at you, there's always a way around it. There's always a challenge, but a challenge will always be an opportunity somewhere in down the road. And that's why I sort of say to people, look, if this happens and it's not great, don't worry about it. Just deal with it and move on, and something better will happen along the way. And that's how I try to. That's how I try when I'm coaching people. I always make them look at things in a different from a different perspective, and then the mindset shifts start to happen and evolve over a period of time.
Oh, that is again one such a powerful place to be, those neural pathways that have evolved, and that social conditioning and those old patterns and habits. Sometimes we have to unlearn what we've been taught or
Absolutely.
shown before we learn new
Yeah.
things. So that's why your job is just so important, because mental health is very prevalent at the moment. It is globally. It doesn't differentiate or discriminate any
No,
age,
it
color,
doesn't.
race. It's in all of us. And it's how we
Absolutely.
get ourselves out of it, by thinking. And that's what you're teaching people. What would be, Andrea, two tips that you could share with everybody today to maybe recognize if they need to reach out for help?
So, okay, people with mental health problems or people who suffer from anxiety or fear or anything like that um, don't always want to reach out because they're almost embarrassed by um, having it all goes with confidence as well and self-esteem. And when people's self-esteem's quite low, they don't want to open up and they don't want to talk to people. One of the most important things with mental health is other people recognizing that there's an issue, because we see it in the media all the time with celebrities like Robin Williams, for example. Um, he always had a smile, and he hid behind that. That was his cloak, and nobody knew. Nobody knew that he had this really, really dark side, this really dark depression that he was suffering from. So I always try to encourage people to just open up to somebody who you really, really trust and you know is going to be non-judgmental to you. And if that means it's going to be a stranger or, an outsider, I think sometimes people can't open up to a family member because they're too close and they will naturally judge, because they want to they want to support them, but they don't know how.
Mm.
So they judge them in the wrong way. So I would say just reach out to somebody who you know you can talk to, who you know you can trust. And if that's not possible for you, then reach out to a professional like myself who can help you in a confidential and non-judgmental way. That's my first tip. The second tip is meditation. I know that sounds crazy, but the only time I have in my day is when I go to bed at night and I close my eyes and I put on a meditation um, tape or something, or something from my phone, just some relaxing music, because the subconscious mind will listen to that and will allow you to relax. So as you're drifting off into sleep, if you can have that music in the background or even somebody talking in the background that's giving you, your subconscious absorbs it. Your conscious mind is listening, but your subconscious mind is absorbing. So
That
that for me would be a way for people to try and relax when they go to bed at night, because the better sleep patterns you have, the more you'll feel better in the morning when you wake up.
And how many times do most people get into bed and they're watching their phone, they're watching
Yeah,
TV, they've got that blue light, their
that's
mind's
it.
overstimulated, and even I've noticed a difference since going to bed without looking at my phone. But that is really valuable advice, because how we go to sleep, like you said, is how we're going to program our mind when we wake up as well. Those tips are
Absolutely.
just absolutely invaluable, especially what you shared about, reaching out to a professional like yourself as well. Um, Now, have you got any plans for 2023 coming up? Any big ideas, launching anything big?
I have, yes. I have designed a mindset masterclass, which is going to be a 1 day in-person event. And I'm going to be throwing that. It's going to be, the first one's going to be in Essex in June this year. And it's going to be going all over the country. So I'm hoping that it's going to be all in all the major cities. I'll probably be doing a lot of them, so I'm going to be very, very busy. But the main aspect of the masterclass is understanding how the mind works. When you understand how the mind works in detail, you can start to reprogram a little bit more. And then you can reflect on where you are now, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. So the title of the masterclass is Reflect, Reset, and Reshape. And when you understand the power of what you are able to achieve, you can get you can go anywhere, you can do anything, you can achieve those goals and those dreams. But when you understand from the beginning what's going on in here, then you can start to change it and you can start to put it all in down in black and white. And then you can say, right, now I know what I'm going to do. I've got focus, I've got clarity, and off you go.
Just get to work. If you believe it, you can achieve it. That is
That's
absolutely
it.
fabulous. And you're based in the UK. So, anybody listening that is in the UK, please connect with Andrea Marsh. We'll be sharing where to connect with her in the show notes. So, make sure you click onto one of her links and connect with her, and she will guide you through all of her wisdom. Andrea, what kind of message would you like to leave the audience on today?
The message I would say to anybody and everybody is, it doesn't matter where you are in your life. there's always room for improvement. There's always room for change. And whatever goals, like you said earlier, if you believe it, you can achieve it. All you have to do is create the reality by the power of the mind.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you for being one of our visionary women leaders changing the world from 2023 and beyond. Stay tuned. We're going to be having more episodes with more amazing visionary leaders and women.